what is consultative sales with some examples. All right, we're going to talk through that. As entrepreneurs and business owners, we know that if we have a clear plan, anything becomes possible. And if you can have a clear plan, a clear process to create that plan, and a way to create clarity with your partner or spouse, you can drive to amazing heights. So, if you're curious, what is consultative sales? Well, consultative sales is where, in essence, you're creating a priority around the relationship. It's not anti-selling, it's almost as if you're giving things away. It's my opinion that for the most part, for most of us in this day and age, we are extremely jaded when it comes to sales. We can smell if somebody's trying to sell us almost immediately. We can just sense it. But if somebody's being curious and they're trying to help us, well, that's different. It makes us more important, and we can feel when somebody's prioritizing that relationship. So the primary key things when it comes to doing consultative sales, and I find this works extremely well if you're in a B2B or B2C service type of business, is when you have that opportunity to be talking to somebody, don't sell them. I know this sounds counterintuitive, but don't sell them. Stay ultra focused on trying to help them. So the first thing you can do is to be ultra present. This sounds silly, but it isn't. The greatest gift we can give anyone right now is to be very present in what we're doing. If you can be ultra present and look into their soul and really be curious and listen, this alone is going to show that you're not trying to get an edge in or a word in edgewise. You're genuinely listening and you're being there for them. A lot of people, this alone, the value of this is tremendous. Now, in some cases, once we start doing that, the purpose of doing that is as you go through, if you can start listening and try and hear what is really the root issue or challenge they're facing. Be curious, ask lots of questions and keep digging and pushing and digging and pushing and digging and pushing. And then when you start to get closer and you see some opportunities, what I found works really well is ask permission and say, hey, I've got a perspective on this. Can I offer you some insights? So in some cases, this can be as simple as asking questions. So I do a lot of very high-end consulting with CEOs and leadership teams around the world. And I know that some really hot button issues that are going to happen every time are going to be, if it's one-on-one coaching for an individual, it's going to be, they likely have some issues around time management. They may feel they're getting pulled in many different directions. They may feel like they're not as healthy as they want to be. What are those areas? Now, if it's for a group, usually with group and leaders and teams, it always comes down to people. They're having some form of people problems or people challenges. So if I can start listening and figure out what those points are, and then come up and say, hey, I got some thoughts on that. Would you like my perspective? Asking permission is not telling them, but it says right there, I'm here to help you. I'm helping in this process. And say, well, hey, as simple as it is, how are you doing with your sleep? Well, what does that have to do anything with business? Well, when it comes to time management, if you can be rested, I work with some people, they feel that that's their number one competitive advantage is if they can be well rested, they make better decisions. So maybe we'll come up with 2 or 3 ideas that are really simple on how they can sleep better. Hey, put your phone in the other room, sleep with an attitude of gratitude when you go to sleep. Set different intentions. Now, for the right person, if this lands, this is something that you can help change their life with just a short conversation. If it's around people, for a whole leadership team, may go through and say, hey, help me understand how clear are the accountabilities? Do people understand what the vision is, where the company's going? Do they know how they're contributing for it? And in some cases, you may be really direct and say, well, if they say no, they don't really know. Well, can I challenge you on that? It's like, who's accountable for that? And people are like, oof. I suppose I should be. Okay, so how can we help with that? And then help them go through. But if you can genuinely be present with someone, listen to where they're at, try and drive in, and then start offering some possible suggestions. If you can change that person's world in even a 5-minute conversation, and they start to say, oh, wow, that was great, thank you very much. Well, by the way, what do you do? Well, as soon as they ask that, you are no longer selling, you're helping. And it allows you to say, well, there's certain people, if I choose to work with somebody, we'll do this, and I help out with that, and this is the type of work we do, and I meet with people like this. Really? You taking on new clients? I'd be happy to talk to you about it, see if we're a fit. I still have a little bit of scarcity, a little bit of rarity around it. But it's the kind of thing that if you can help first, let people know this is what you do, and then let the chips fall. Then maybe they say, nah, they don't need anything. Fair enough. If you try and chase them though, they're going to sense that and that it's going to push them away. But if you say, hey, here's where we are, this is how it works, this is what I do. If you want to explore this a little bit more, you let me know. You're putting all the power in their hands. They're in total control. But you're still solving the problem and you're getting what you want. So if you had questions on, hey, help me understand, what is this idea of consultative selling? Well, this gives you a few examples of that, and ideally, you found some value with it. So if you did, please subscribe to the channel. You're welcome to go to our website, aspiringsolopreneur.com. We talk a lot about that in the book and how to safely transition to starting your own business. And we have a full course online. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Keep smiling.